Good morning, children. Welcome to English class. Children, in our last session, we have discussed bit B. Answer these questions. In today's session, children, we will discuss the last bit of this lesson, bit C. Think and answer. Before that, I'll show you the summary of the lesson video, children. Watch the video and understand the lesson clearly.
Naughty Peter Rabbit. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. One morning, old Mrs. Rabbit was going out, so she warned the 4 little rabbits against going into Mr. McGregor's garden. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went to gather blackberries. However, Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden. In Mr. McGregor's garden. First, Peter ate some lettuce and some beans. Then he ate some radishes. Then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. Round the end of a cucumber frame, he met Mr. McGregor. Mr. McGregor ran after Peter, calling out, "Stop, thief!" Peter rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages, and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. The chase. Peter ran into a gooseberry net, and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. Mr. McGregor came up with a sieve, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him. He rushed into the tool shed, and jumped into a can, but it had a lot of water in it. Mr. McGregor began to turn over the flower pots, looking carefully under each. Peter sneezed, and Mr. McGregor was after him in no time. Peter jumped out of a window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and tired of running after Peter, he went back to his work. Poor Peter! Peter was out of breath, and trembling with fright, he had no idea which way to go. He found a door in a wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. The escape. Peter went back towards the tool shed, but suddenly he heard the noise of a hoe. It was Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Peter started running as fast as he could go. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden.
That is the video of summary of the lesson. Hope you all have understood the lesson well, children. Now, all of you open your class works. Write date and write bit C. Think and answer. Think and answer. Here are the first question, children. Do you think Mr. McGregor was a bad person? Bad person. Give reason for your answer. Give reason for your answer. So, children, do you think that McGregor was a bad person? If you think he's a bad person, give reason to your answer. If you feel that he's a good person, then give the reason why you think him as a good person. So here the answer is, I do not think do not think Mr. McGregor was a bad person. Bad person. But he was certainly not an animal lover. Not an animal lover. And it is hard to like his character. So here the answer is, I do not think Mr. McGregor was a bad person, but he was certainly not an animal lover, and it is hard to like his character. Next, second question, children. Why do you think Peter Rabbit decided not to speak to the cat. Why do you think Peter Rabbit decided not to speak to the cat? What do you think? What do you think he had heard about cats from his cousin? So here the question is, why do you think Peter Rabbit decided not to speak to the cat? What do you think he had heard about cats from his cousin? So here the answer is, Peter Rabbit probably did not speak to the cat because his cousin told him that cats are dangerous for rabbits. dangerous for rabbits. Okay. Peter Rabbit probably did not speak to the cat because his cousin told him that cats are dangerous for rabbits. Okay, children. Now with this we have completed all the bits of lesson 7. Now coming to today's here homework, children. Learn and write all the bits of lesson 7 in your classwork as well as in your textbook. Okay, children? Okay, that's it for today. See you in the next session. Bye, children.